Next Gen USA.com network. With me tonight is Steamboat Willie, as usual. And of course, our police officer, Mikey from the East Coast. How you guys doing tonight?
Super.
Enough
Waiting for the
said.
rain.
Wow. Wow. Super. That sounds so freaking exciting. Super.
I'm waiting for rain. My back feels it.
Oh, wow. Well, we had a little rain here in San Diego, not much, just a little sprinkling here and there. But it's nice weather. It's about 70 degrees, overcast, but nice and cool.
Oh, yeah, here.
Yeah. Well, enjoying the
We got
life.
the cold front.
There's a lot to talk about. So I'm just going to start it off with Governor DeSantis, his announcement today to run for president of the United States.
Correct.
I know there was some glitches with Twitter today, and it kind of a little cloud over his announcement, but he made the announcement today like he promised. So, Mikey, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts?
I didn't actually get to see the whole announcement, but from what I've been hearing, they said it was kind of Trump-like for the game plans and stuff like that.
Right.
He was just on Fox with what the hell's his name, Trey Gowdy, and you know, I think that he could have done it in person, and which probably would have helped him out
I agree.
instead of being on Twitter to put it out.
Right. I
I
think
like now
part of
Tim's.
the reason he did Twitter, and this is just speculation on my part, is that I think he developed a partnership with Elon Musk months ago.
Oh, I'm sure.
And
With the
and
rockets being launched.
yeah. So I think that he's using that his relationship with Elon Musk to spread his message, right? Um, what better person than Elon
Yeah,
Musk to help him launch his campaign? If you think about it, because we've all been speculating that Elon Musk was a Trump supporter all this time, right? But Elon Musk, like most business people, is about the mighty dollar, right? What better way to put Twitter on the map, which looks like, Twitter slowly becoming a news agency more than anything, right? That's what it looks
get
like.
normalized.
So, what better way to announce it um, with all the candidates announcing that they're going to run against Donald Trump, including Larry Elder from California is running. There's quite a few candidates running. They don't meet, percentage wise, they're all under 1%, but there's still a lot of people running for an election that we all thought was just going to go one way.
Well, I tell you, I heard Tim Scott do his announcement.
Yeah.
Very well put together.
Right.
Very well.
We would expect that from Tim Scott, right? Because he's more
Yeah.
of a old school Republican, where he's not going to attack anybody and he's not going to say the wrong things initially, right? You're going to have to get him in public. Um, and there's many reasons why all these people are jumping in. I have my own ideas, but I want to hear what you guys think. Why so many are jumping into the race? Steamboat.
Hopes of becoming a.
You think, or maybe some of them want a cabinet position. I'm sure people like Tim Scott probably wants a cabinet position. I'm pretty sure Larry Elder is looking for a cabinet position. But I don't think Pence is looking for a cabinet position. I don't think Nikki Haley's looking for a cabinet position.
They've been there, done that.
I don't think who's the governor from Arkansas running?
Asa Hutchinson.
Right. I don't think Asa is looking for a cabinet position.
Nope.
He's just looking for shoes.
I don't think Vivek is looking for a cabinet position. I don't think Vivek will serve under Trump at all if Trump ends up winning.
I agree.
Their opinions are too far apart, and Vivek is too too much of an A-type personality to shut his mouth and follow the lead. So I don't think he's running for cabinet. Definitely DeSantis is not running for cabinet position.
I would agree with that too.
After today. So in saying that, what are your thoughts, Mike? Do you think that's just it, or is there more to it than that?
I think there may be more to it. You know, it depends on what happens down the road a ways. Yeah, you know, just have to see how their rallies go and how the people respond. You know, if you can draw 30 people or you can draw 100 people, it all depends. You know, that's your best advertisement.
Right. Right. And I agree with that. I think it's definitely going to be a fun-filled campaign.
I think so.
I'm dying for the speeches and the attacks and the counterattacks. I'm dying to see what that's going to be like, because it's going to make it a fun race, in my opinion. It's not going to be like the Democratic race, which is kind of dull. Whoever runs against Biden, it's going to be a dull race, unless
so
Newsom
far,
jumps in.
3 going against Biden is RFK and Williams, and that's the only ones that we know of, and him.
Right. And Governor Youngkin already said yesterday that he's not going to run for the Republican side, because there was a lot of speculation that he might jump in the race.
Right.
But I want to throw a little fire and a little gas into this fire that's fuming here with Steamboat Willie. What do you think, sir?
Well, you know, don't take my word for it, because as of last night, I officially on Facebook became a Russian agent.
Wow, you're just like Trump.
And Tulsi Gabbard. And all I did was all I did was endorse the guy. And but I have. Yeah, and the guy's name, I don't remember his last name, but the guy's name was Rusty, and I was like, you know, anybody called Rusty, I really don't give a fuck, really, what you call me, because you got
better than. Yeah, I mean, there's that other guy that was talking to you too from another state. What was his name? Ben Dover.
But I have to be honest with you. I laughed when he called me a Russian troll. I laughed so hard. I mean, he made my day, actually. Sometimes your critics are your best friends on a bad day.
You know, I saw that, and I actually laughed, because it just shows you how stupid a lot of Americans are, right?
And I told him, I said, you know what? I don't know what to tell you, buddy, but you're a dumb bastard. You know,
right.
You know, that's
he's as confused. He's as confused as a sheep eaten on AstroTurf.
I know, and what amazing.
And yes, I support Kennedy
Stop
from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike, stop talking about my friends in Ohio.
I was plagiarizing. Yes.
But, you know, putting that aside, let's focus on the announcement today, because, Will, I'm dying to hear what you think on DeSantis' announcement today.
Dying to hear from who?
You.
Okay, well, okay, put your seatbelt. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your exit. Here's your exit position. Now put on your seatbelts. That's it. Look, they're calling Trump, or they're calling DeSantis Trump light.
Right.
And he's not. He might be trying to be. But the point I'm trying to make is this. The guy is way too far right for me. Now, he's done some really good things in Florida, and I support them. But he's going so far right. You know, we always talk about that pendulum swinging back and forth. Right. You can go too far left, or you can go too far right. He's not a balance. This is the one thing people aren't looking at. Now I understand. I understand the Republican Party is looking at Trump's baggage, and he's supposed to go on trial in March of 2024 and all of that. But they're not looking at the big picture. And what do you call it, Tony? You call it the uniparty.
Correct.
And that's what it is. There are Republicans and Democrats in this country that do not want to see him run again. Period. This is not a campaign for the Republican or Democratic nominations at this point. In fact, I could be wrong. Maybe Mike will correct me. But as far as I know, Biden's campaign, so he's not going to debate Robert F. Kennedy or Marianne Williamson. And I think there's another one. Right. And I think there's another one getting ready to get in. So basically what you're doing is you're holding your party hostage. You're not giving the American people a choice. Now, you put Donald Trump on a debate stage.
Right.
Boom.
Which he will do. I mean, look at how he swept the floor with CNN.
Yeah.
in that town hall.
Yeah.
But this is not about the presidency of the United States at this point. And this is about stop Trump. That's what this is about. That's why Elton Brett has this case. I was talking to a couple people today, and they could well be right. They're so afraid of him that they may well pull a DOJ case on this guy. But here's the thing. Do you realize what's that old saying, Tony? The wheels of justice turn slowly.
Yes.
Well, it's going to turn so slow that he is still going to get the Republican nomination.
See, that's where you and I don't agree, because I think it's going to happen sooner than you think. Like you, I believe that we're in a one-party system, right? I definitely believe that. I don't think there is a Republican or a Democrat. I think they're in cahoots, because at the end of the day, they don't truly care about the American people or the Republic. But I think Trump represents such a dangerous foe to both sides that they're in cahoots to do him in before the election. And I think they're either going to come up with some trumped up charges. Trumped up charges.
Good pun.
And
pun intended.
And it's going to force, his base will still be his base, but the people he needs to win are that independent people in the middle, and they're going to lose faith because of all the nonsense. Because the American people are weak.
Yeah, let me elaborate on your previous question about DeSantis. DeSantis, this is a guy who is running for governor of California, and was so far behind, not just in the polls, but so far behind in fundraising.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And Donald Trump came to his side in his aid.
Right.
So much so that during a campaign commercial, and I can send it to you after this show, Ron DeSantis has his baby in his arms, reading from The Art of the Deal, and gets to the point where you're fired and looks at the baby and says, "That's my favorite part." See, now here's the thing. The one thing I can, and I know I'm sounding naive and maybe a little idealistic, but the one thing I hate more than anything, and that's why, I should just get back to painting pictures, because politics is really starting to piss me off. But the one thing I hate in politics the most is disloyalty. When somebody comes to your aid and gives you the tools to be a good leader,
right?
Well, I think, and I could be wrong, I think you should honor that.
I
Not turn on the guy.
I totally
Had
agree.
your back when nobody else would.
I agree with you 100%. You know that I'm an old soldier, and loyalty is everything to me, right? Whether it's in uniform or out of uniform, those are my brothers and sisters for life, and I will always support them. I don't have to agree with them, but I will always support them. I don't like
You know,
people
and that's a great point, Tony. Thank God we always don't agree together,
right.
because it creates debate, and it makes you think from another vantage point. If we
What you
always
think?
agreed, if Mike always agreed with me, if Allie always agreed with me, if Al always agreed with me, and Tony Rodriguez always agreed, we'd get nothing done. We wouldn't think about a new way of
But
doing things.
the beauty of us not agreeing is we live in a republic where that's okay to do, right?
Right.
And we don't hold it against each other when we don't agree, right? We might argue, we might call each other dumbass or stupid or whatever the case is.
No. Okay, boss, time out. I'm the only dumbass on this show. You've made that very clear.
No, my point is
But-
that we're
but I-
able to do
but-
that. We're still able to do that and still able to hug each other and support each other.
Well,
Which is something that we don't do as a nation, as a republic. We don't stand up for each other because we want to follow these asswipes that are running our country, whether it's Republican or Democrat, who really don't give a rat's ass about us, right? They don't care about our families. All they care is about how they're going to make more money. How are they going to get
Right.
involved with a special interest group that's going to give them more money so that $190,000 salary a year turns into $10 or $12 million. That's all it's about.
Here's the ever freaking point, which you're trying to make, and you're making it well. But here's the point: is that it's all about self-interest. And you mentioned a couple of shows ago, I think you mentioned that any candidate that tells you that they're going to fight for term limits is lying to you. Now, I don't believe that exactly, because I support term limits, but getting it done is the issue. They can't
Is the hard part.
Kevin McCarthy, who I think is going to go down as one of the greats. If anybody redefines the Republican Party in Congress, it's going to be Kevin McCarthy. But the point that I'm trying to make is Kevin McCarthy and Joe Biden cannot come together on a simple thing: the resolution. Now, the debt ceiling resolution. So, did you guys actually see that bill?
No, I haven't. I won't even tell you I haven't.
Okay.
Great big, huh?
It's that big, and so what do they do in Congress? On both sides of the aisle, by the way, both are culpable. They get a staff to write cliff notes on the major parts of the bill. Do you know the one thing in that bill? They can't solve the debt ceiling crisis yet. But you know the one thing in that bill that both sides agreed on?
What's that?
National Maple Syrup Month.
Oh, great.
True story.
I thought it was going to be a
True story. True story. And that's what we've always talked about. And Mike will tell you, one of my big complaints about congressional bills is the fact that they add so many riders into the bill that you're not actually getting a down vote on the thing. And then it's so polluted. I mean, this is why nothing's getting done in Washington.
Well,
I mean, look at the last bill they wanted to put through. It was $1 million for a walking trail in Georgia with the name of Michelle Obama. She could buy her own damn field and go put a walking trail up. We don't need
Good.
to buy
You know what's sad though?
a stick in there.
We keep blaming the politicians, right? But we've given them that authority to do the dumb shit they do by voting for them.
We have been, we the people have been derelict in our duty. I agree with you 100%, Tony.
We have the ability to control who's in office, and yet we don't want to elect a local kid because he doesn't have money, but we'll elect a fucking pedophile like, I don't even going to say his name, but he's in charge in Burbank. We're going to let him run and keep electing him over and over and over, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna apologize. I'm gonna apologize in advance because this is going to be so politically incorrect. But you do know that I'm a Russian agent, so I can get away with it.
And I think that same person you're talking about.
First of all, before you go into your Russian, you're fucking a horrible agent because you're broke and you're poor. So what kind of agent are you?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's why I called the guy a dumb bastard.
Yeah, and there's that one congressman that's in there now that they want to do a censure on and fine him $12 million. And I'm sure Tony knows exactly who I'm talking about because he's close to you.
And he's whining about it on Twitter, right?
Adam Schiff.
Who is that?
Oh, Mr. Adam Schiff.
Oh yeah.
They're trying to.
Oh, of course he's going to whine about it. He's one of those whiny. He's one of those. He's like this.
He's making the face. Yeah, that's a face. It's funny. It's funny. He's always attacking other political figures for lying, but yet when they attack him for his obvious lies on the Trump investigation, he gets all defensive.
Right.
I didn't lie. I just said. I just said what I was told. Well, I remember many of his statements were, I actually saw the evidence. I saw the documentation that showed.
Liar.
You didn't see anything. Right. You didn't see.
Not you.
No, I know.
Adam Schiff.
No, I know. He, that's what I mean. And yet this asswipe can keep running for office, and the dumb people in my district keep reelecting him, which is amazing to me that we know what he is. We know he's a liar. And yet whenever he comes, I'm going to give a great example. The city I live in talks a lot of smack about Mr. Schiff. But who did they invite for the parade last year for the 4th of July parade? Adam Schiff, right?
Shifty Schiff, yeah.
If you're going to talk crap about somebody, then don't invite them into your neighborhood or into your home.
Right.
You know what? Stand up.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. And I don't know how much. Look, as you so eloquently say, I'm a dumbass. But I'm not so dumb to recognize that if it looks like Schiff and it smells like Schiff
and it tastes like Schiff,
there we go.
Well, you see what they're trying to do now is they're trying to push Dianne Feinstein out, and that way Gavin Newsom can put his person of color in there. But Nancy Pelosi's going, no, let her finish out her term because she wants Adam to go in there.
No, actually, I have a different theory about that. I don't think they want Adam in that position. I think they want.
I agree. I agree.
Nancy Pelosi's daughter to be the designated appointee, so that when she runs, she has a jump start on people like Adam Schiff and Miss Porter, because they don't want Miss Porter in there either.
Right, because she's taking.
Well, I'm gonna say one thing, not to piss my guys off, but I'm gonna say one thing.
Say it, baby.
Alexandria, Alexandria Pelosi. She is a great filmmaker. She got along, even though she didn't like the guy, she got along with George W. Bush during his campaign, and she documented everything. But George W. Bush loved her, by the way. But George W. Bush made sure that she ate turkey sandwiches every day on the campaign plane. She got so sick of turkey, I think she became a vegan or something. But she's a great artist and a great documentarian. But that is not who I want to see take over a Senate.
No, and I wouldn't get mad for you saying that because she is talented. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's a problem with nepotism, right?
Definitely.
Well, there is. But this is an argument. I'm glad you brought that up.
Bring it up. Say it.
No, I'm just glad you brought that up because they have. This is a historical thing where nepotism seems to be a bad word, right? So Trump was accused of nepotism by bringing all of his kids into the White House after 2017. John F. Kennedy accused of nepotism when he appointed his brother Attorney General of the United States. Now, some presidents don't do that.
No,
and they even accused Jimmy Carter of nepotism by allowing his wife to go to cabinet meetings. Let me tell you something about nepotism.
Tell me.
Sometimes you realize that the people around you are a hell of a lot smarter than you are.
No.
And I'm looking myself in the mirror.
No, I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
And if I trusted my daughter or my friends, accuse me of anything. At least we would have leadership.
As part of my staff, I don't have a problem with that because I would hire my son in a heartbeat because I know what he can do, right? But the part that I don't like is that Pelosi's going to move out of power. Newsom is governor of California. He's going to put in a relative into that office so he can manipulate the voting. I don't like it.
Could well. You could well be right on that. I don't know.
I'm not against that.
Like Al Collins, who, by the way, Al Collins, he would have been with us tonight, but he's doing a chamber event. He's cutting a ribbon. I think sometimes Al looks at the Tony Rodriguez show is jury duty, and he tries to figure out a way to get out of it.
So I don't have a problem here. You know how I feel about Trump's daughter not being involved in his campaign, right? Because I think she's an intelligent woman. She's a smart business person, and she doesn't want to be involved. We can make assumption that she's tired of politics and all that. I don't see that as she's tired of politics. I think she doesn't want to be involved in a campaign because she.
Well, okay, no, right, and I agree with you. But look, here's the thing. At some point, I mean, look at what that family has gone through. It wasn't just President Trump that was attacked on this thing. His entire family was attacked on this thing.
Okay,
and when you have kids, and when Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner, they're trying to raise a family and have their own life too. I would never, if I announced, which just so I don't scare anybody, I'll never be on a ballot again. I promise you. But the point I'm trying to make is when your family is attacked, you've got to protect your family. It's like our daughter Callista. She built her own life and she worked hard at doing it. I would never ask her to get into a race like that. Though the last time that I filed, she offered, and I said no because my kids are more important. Allie's more. Look, the people I love are more important than any political ambition.
I don't question that from you, but here's what I say about all that. They're not so naive that they didn't know when he was running for president the first time.
No, they did know. They did know, and they enjoyed it for a time. But when the pressure came down,
if you think
If I think at all, it's a miracle.
No, but if you're Donald Trump's family, that with his background, you aren't going to get a lot of crap. If it was you or me, well, we're not sure, but he knew. Everybody knew that Trump was going to get attacked from day one. That was no secret, right?
He was attacked. He was attacked long before he's been a presidential candidate. For God's sake,
but it's not a secret. So for them to not really know that, if they didn't know, it was naive on their part. Because when your daddy is Donald Trump, you know that people are going to be trashing him left, regardless of what it was. We all knew that he's not racist. We know that, right? Because the people he's always surrounded himself. But that,
and here's the thing, and that's another hit job that they tried to do. That's another hit job they tried to do, and people get tired of him staying on script by saying fake news. Okay, here's the thing: the news has been fake on Donald Trump. He might be an asshole.
Yeah.
He might be an arrogant, narcissistic son of a bitch.
Yep.
He might grab pussies at any given opportunity.
Right.
But he's not a racist. But he's not a racist. And the other thing he's not is an enemy of the United States.
No.
He's not a fascist either.
No, I don't.
And he's not a warmonger. He's not a warmonger.
I don't think. I think what hurt him more than anything was himself, right? Because,
well, we all do that from time to time.
Instead of surrounding himself with the right people, he surrounded himself with people that probably didn't have the mind of the republic, right?
Thus why he appointed his family, because he trusted them. I mean, seriously, you remember that old adage?
No, which one?
When Harry Truman said, "If you want a friend in Washington, get a dog."
Yep, I agree.
And Ronald Reagan said, after he got to the White House, he looked around at his staff and he said, "Well, you said you'd stand with me through thick and thin," and they replied, "Well, we'll stand with you through thick." And Ronald Reagan said, "Well, what about the thin?" And they said, "Welcome to Washington."
Well, and that's when you fire the motherfuckers, plain and simple. I mean,
and that's what Donald Trump did. I don't know why people complain. I mean, he was a firer-in-chief,
right? But
before.
I think people complain because they were under the assumption that as the leader that he was, business leader, he would know better on the surrounding himself with the right people.
Okay, but this is what I'm saying. You're assuming that that's the way it works, Tony. And the fact is, it doesn't.
No, but I think as president, when you choose your staff, you're going to choose staff that you know. Like, I'm going to give you a great example. When I became a supervisor in the Army, a master sergeant, I interviewed any recruiter that was coming into my team, right?
Right.
Unlike any Army unit, I want this motherfucker. I don't want that motherfucker, right? I want him, and her, right? Because as a leader, you can make that decision. I don't give a shit if it's president or governor. You make the right decision to surround yourself with the right people so that when you need help, they have your best interest in mind, right? Because we all need counsel.
They have your, as you say in the military, they have your six.
Yeah, you got to have counsel. Any great leader doesn't do it by himself or herself. Anybody
any great leader that thinks that they can is not a great leader.
No, he's a piece of shit. He needs to get the fuck out, right? But
did you hear that? Did you hear that, Uncle Joe?
Chairman Biden, right?
Chairman Biden, yeah, that's what you got.
So
he's eating ice cream. We'll be back.
He's got to be held accountable for choosing the wrong leaders, the wrong people behind them, right? And you can look at him like DeSantis. Now he's announced, what's his name? Sununu and David Abrams are going to be.
Oh, Chris Sununu. Let me tell you something real quick.
Let me finish.
Yeah,
and
yes,
David
sir. I'm sorry.
Abrams are now siding with DeSantis instead of Trump. That shows you the moral character of those two people right off the bat, right? How do you go from supporting this and now you're going to go to the enemy? That's what I call it, right? Whether I like DeSantis or Trump, that's not relevant. If you switch from me to somebody else, you're becoming my enemy at this point. You're not my friend. You're not my counsel. You betrayed me,
Right.
right?
Right.
And
Exactly.
if they're willing to betray one to the other, that shows you all the moral character you need, right? I'm of the frame of mind that if I was president, my staff would be no Washington dumbass. I would reach out to people that I knew that helped me
Right.
get there through the chain and basic accounting people, right? If I'm going to have somebody help me with budget, I want an accounting person that I could trust. That's going to show me what I need to cut from the budget because I'm not going to know, right? I'm not naive.
No, but I disagree. I disagree with you. Yes, you would know because you handle a family budget all the time. It's like Kevin McCarthy was saying about this debt ceiling
Right.
crisis, and he put it in great terms. I wanted originally Jim Jordan is Speaker of the House,
Right.
because I really didn't trust any Republican from California. But it was Mike that said no. They each have a role to play, and watch what Jim Jordan does. Jim Jordan has huge work to do, and Kevin McCarthy will be just fine. Well, Kevin McCarthy explained to the American people the other day that the crisis that we're going through with regard to the debt ceiling is like giving your teenager a credit card.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then when they overspend it, what are you going to do? Are you going to make them work themselves to pay it off, or are you just going to pay it off for them? This is the exact same thing we're going through here. I mean, on a bigger scale.
Right.
But Speaker McCarthy was brilliant in describing it that way, because that's exactly what has happened.
It's a beautiful analogy.
And you think about it, they want to cut things that they don't need in there. Say you've got a bunch of empty buildings, sell the damn things. Let somebody else take it. Just cut it. Use it.
Or put that toward the homeless crisis in California, and actually all of these cities passing all of this money to solve a crisis that they're never going to solve. By the way, I know I'm sounding pessimistic.
No,
but I've watched this happen time and again.
It's factual.
It's factual, and you can't. We either talk the truth or we don't.
Right.
And so there's so much they could do, but nobody's meeting this out. Nobody's discussing the real issues and how to solve them. And then you've got a bill. I mean, my God, guys, the bill is so freaking tall. It doesn't even make any sense.
Well, again, I think a lot of it is purposely done that way, so people get discouraged by looking at it. Right? Oh, I'm not reading all that. Right?
Okay, but you were hired. And I'm not talking about you. I wish you were hired to go to Congress, but you were hired to do a job.
Yep.
You don't have to stay there 50 years like a Joe Biden or Dianne Feinstein, but you were hired to do a job. If you have to, it's like what you say about being parents, Tony. If you can't do it and stay up all night and handle the drama that comes with having kids, then just don't be a parent. Same thing with being a member of Congress. If you cannot stay up all night, right? But if you can't stay up all night to read a bill, you shouldn't be there. Go home.
But whose fault is that, right? We elect
the member of Congress.
We elect these assholes, right? We know they're assholes, but we'd rather keep voting for the same old shit that's not working.
The definition of insanity.
Right? We
Definition
don't
of insanity. Well said. Well said, guys.
We don't have. Well, this guy doesn't have experience. Well, what kind of experience you need to be a politician? I think you only need common sense, right? And understand the Constitution. That's kind of simple.
Some of the best, and they don't get a lot of play in the news, but some of the best members of Congress are the ones that just do their job and shut the fuck up. They might argue a bill or something, but they're not trying to grab the camera every time. But you know, and I was a big critic, I have to tell you. I'm on a mea culpa streak this week. I'm trying to find redemption for my blue. But I was a huge critic at one time of Matt Gaetz.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And he proved himself. Watching him work with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez impressed the living shit out of me. It literally, to see that kind of bipartisanship means they're doing their job. And though they disagree probably on 90% of everything, they're still working together to get things done. And that's what the American people expect. And you would be that kind of, you and Mike both would. Look, I'm still trying to, just to make a point, I'm still trying to draft Allie, and she's not going to have it. But Allie would give a great big kick in the ass to the liberal left in California. They don't know her too well, and that woman cannot be dictated, bought, or paid for.
But that's what we need, right? We need somebody like her, right? We need somebody that's willing to.
But here's the thing: she's too smart. She's too smart to even do it. So
we need that.
We
we need people like her to be unsmart and get involved and fight the battle, because we can't fight it alone. We need blood. We need blood.
Trying to get Allie to be unsmart. That will never happen. She's always going to be smarter than I am. And not that it's a competition, but she's probably smarter than all three of us put together.
Nothing
and definitely smart, and definitely smarter than Al Collins.
I think Al's the smartest one of all of us, to be honest.
Probably. He's smart enough. He's smart enough to go cut a ribbon tonight. And leave us to our little nest.
We need to find people like Allie that want to run for office, and we got to do.
No, she hates it. Yeah, but she hates it. And this is the thing: the culture, our socio-political culture in this country, literally eradicates the best people waiting to serve. I mean, she's servant material on top. There are so many people, good people, waiting to serve, who are smart, who understand the Constitution of the United States, who love people. And we eradicate them because of campaign finance. We eradicate them because of personal issues. I mean, this shit something's got to give, Tony Rodriguez.
Well, we keep going down the path that we're going to, and a lot of things are going to give, right? We're going to have to learn Chinese, because they're going to take over the world at this point, right? I mean, we got the Navy patrolling Taiwanese waters constantly, because we know that at some point China is going to strike. It's just
what did we do? We sent the you guys can correct me, but we sent the what do we do? We sent the a fleet.
Part of the Pacific Fleet's out there.
The Pacific Fleet, exactly.
And there's a hurricane going that way this week.
Yep.
And then at the same time, you're in San Diego, I want you to tell this story though, or maybe you can't talk about it. If you can't talk about it, just tell me to shut my dumb ass.
We're not in this.
But you were on two, but you were on two ships just
Right.
recently. Yeah, you can't talk about it though.
And all I'll tell you is this budget issue is affecting the ability to repair some of our equipment, whether it's ships or Army equipment or Air Force equipment. All this argument is just putting a hold on all that. And what that means is by the time these asswipes agree to a budget, right, it's going to take months to fix what we already have that's sitting there not being fixed as it is now. And
So let me ask you a question: Is this something that took place in your line of work? Is this something that took place since Biden became president, or is this something that's been an ongoing thing?
It's happened in the past, but Obama did it. It's happened in the past. It didn't happen under Trump. I'll tell you that. It's happening now under Biden.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to say.
And again, I'm not a big Trump fan, but the economy was much better when he was in charge. Our forces were well equipped when he was in charge. Gas was a lot cheaper when he was in charge. Food was cheaper. We didn't have all the drama.
Oh my God! Our mutual friend,
right? I mean,
Ralph Thomas posted a thing the other day. I have to give him credit for it. That was another day that I laughed my ass off. He said, I miss $1.49 gas price, and I really miss the mean tweets.
because Trump said that when he gets back in office, he's going to declassify all the JFK assassination documents.
Yeah, he is.
So that's another reason
to be honest,
probably like
that's way overdue.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is calling for that too.
All that is way overdue because the American people need to see the evidence that we did it to Kennedy. Yeah. We did.
How are you right? I mean, we wanted to blame it on Castro. We wanted to blame it on the Soviet Union. Look, if we think how can I say this without offending without being called a Russian agent?
Fuck them, say it.
Fuck them. Here's the thing. Unless the American people know what their government is doing, and I know we can't know everything.
Right.
You know, we've got men and women who put their lives on the line every day, and do their job to protect us and their constitutional law. But the bureaucracy and that little cabal of assholes, there's no reason whatsoever why any of those two Kennedys and Martin Luther King Jr. should have died the same decade.
Nope.
But, you know.
Benghazi was done just as a videotape, right? Not.
What's that? Oh, right, exactly.
Right? And then later on it comes out.
You got Hillary Clinton. Then you got Hillary Clinton before Libya. Then you got Hillary Clinton before a congressional committee saying, when they ask her about Benghazi in that night, she says, "Well, what difference does it make now?" What a snake! This woman.
You know,
and I think running again too.
That might happen. You know, I think both sides are going to have so many people running that it's going to, at least on the Democratic side, it's going to make it easier for Kennedy. I'm hoping, right? Because he's not going to get support from his own party, so it's got to be something where there's so many people running that he edges out Biden for some godforsaken reason or some wonderful reason. On the Republican side, I'm still in the mindset that I think they're going to get Trump on some stupid charge and they're going to force him out of the race.
See, and I understand your thinking on that, but I have to respectfully, Congressman, the gentleman from San Diego, I have to respectfully disagree with you because I think they have overstepped their bounds on this one.
Oh, there's no argument there. I don't disagree with you at all. I think everything they're doing to Trump is wrong. It's immoral. Um,
I mean, some things Trump does is wrong, but we all do that. I mean, look. Let's take Trump out of the equation just for
right,
1 second, for 1 second, because I know we're approaching the top of the hour. Let's talk about the 535 monkeys in Washington D.C. who can't even read their own bill. Who's a greater threat to the United States? Donald Trump or 535 assholes
right.
who want the perks and can't do their and you know what? I shouldn't have said that because not all of them are assholes. We've got some good. We actually have some really, really good people on both sides of the aisle
Right.
in Congress. But do you realize that the look at Trump's poll numbers?
Right.
He's still leading. He's still
60.
leading DeSantis by over 30%, maybe 30.
Yeah,
Over
I agree. Yeah.
Do you know what? Do you know what? When you talk about Congress to the American people, do you know what their approval rating is?
Probably lower than 30.
9%.
Wow.
Ooh, that much. I wouldn't.
No, nobody trusts their representatives.
But okay, they don't. But here we go. I go back to my same old argument. They keep voting for the same representative, right?
See, they're
So
insane.
you're either, God, I hate to say this, you're either a freaking dumbass that you don't know right from wrong,
Okay, don't get personal.
or you really don't care because it's not technically affecting you personally at this time.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna care when it affects you. Just like law enforcement, right? Let's defund the police. Let's do this until
Well,
something happens to you personally or your family member, somebody you care about. Then all of a sudden you're screaming, "Why, why, why?" Right?
Tony, you nailed it. You nailed it. And years ago, you just nailed it on the head, by the way. But years ago, Mike and I always used to talk about that on the air, even. And we used to say, the American people don't care until it affects their own backyard.
Yeah,
And
and
that's
they
the
listen
thing.
to everything their friends say, and they believe what their friends say. They don't look up the facts for
Well
themselves.
said. Well said. Well said, guys. You're both right.
And I mean, I used to say some Americans are stupid, and you see all these little shows, and they go, "Well, who do we fight in the Revolutionary War?" And they'll say, "The North and South." And you go, "I rest my case." They got no idea.
But
They're
it's funny
asleep
that
at the wheel.
when it comes to that, they're naive, right? Or not. But when it comes to stupid stuff like TikTok or crying about something that really is not that important, like I know somebody who's been working for the mouse for over a year and he got a pin, right?
All right.
And he was not happy about the pin, so he had to post all over his social media that he preferred cash and blah blah blah. So for things like that, they can come out because it's affecting them personally. But let me talk about. I had at one point in the shipyard over 200 people working. Right, I don't have anything close to that anymore. But I don't see
Wow.
anybody outside the shipyard saying, "Wait a minute, these people are unemployed. What are we going to do to help them? What do we need to do as a government to help these people?" But we don't talk about that. But if it affects you personally, then you scream and whine on social media that you
Right.
deserve more than a pin from Disney, right?
Well said, buddy.
So, people are naive like parents. And you guys know it drives me nuts. Government should not tell us what to do with our kids. Government should not tell us what to do, what education they need. If we want to put our kids in a different school, it should be the parents' choice. They pay taxes for that reason, but yet we don't push back enough. If Governor Newsom says, no, school choice is a bad idea, a lot of parents, well, you know what? He's probably right. they don't understand that they can take that $14,000 a year per student and use it to better their kids and their children.
Well, I think you mentioned it. I think you mentioned it uh, maybe a show or two ago. But it's like it's like when the liberal left started hitting parents, parents that were actually going to their board of education meetings, actually taking a role. They were called domestic extremists.
Yep.
That's like
This is what and that must mean that Allie and I are domestic extremists, because we were at every board meeting. Anytime there was an issue, we were there. We didn't leave it up to the government to do that.
well, and look at what the government did today. Do you remember the U-Haul truck that ran in by the
Oh
White
yeah.
House?
Well, I mean, that guy's an
And they
ass.
said
That shit, a crazy guy.
he was a white supremacist, and he was like
Yeah, he
Spanish.
took out the swastika flag. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So today, except for one, and that was like destroying public government property, because he said he was going to kill the president and do all the rest of this, and no charges. So
If things are done out of convenience for the government for the most part, and the people need to understand that the government works for us, we don't work for them. And
correct.
until we make that decision that this is our country and we want it back, things will continue to go on the path we're going on. Because again, if you say something to somebody that offends them, it's a feeling thing. It's not a fact thing. It's a feeling. I feel you offended
Right.
me, right? I'm tired of asking people in California, are you male, female? What, And if I'm afraid of offending them, because if I don't have a little block that says something else, they get offended and complain, right?
Right.
This is where we're at in California, where you got to be careful even how you look at somebody or what you say to somebody, even if you don't mean it in a negative fashion. You got to be careful, because if you hurt their feelings, they can file a complaint, right? Or they can cancel you or try to cancel you or even lose your job.
That's why it's
Or
good to
lose
be
your
retired.
job. Exactly.
Because I'd never seen an archaeologist dig up something that wasn't male or female.
And it's not that I care. It's not that I care that you're whatever you want to call yourself, okay? But don't push your nonsense on me, right?
Exactly.
I don't care if you're gay, straight. I don't
Right.
want to hear about
Thank
none of
God.
that shit.
Thank God for that, Tony.
To me, it's not important, right? I don't go around telling people, hey, everybody, I'm heterosexual. You got to give me special rights. It's none of your business what I do.
Right.
And that's the thing. Stay out of our bedrooms. You got no business there.
Yeah.
You know what goes on it's like going to Vegas. What goes on in your family stays in your family. I mean, unless you cross the line, which is always
no. We're talking extremes, but I'm just saying that, like I have people in the army I served with when it wasn't a popular thing to do, that we all knew what they were. None of us cared.
See,
right.
Not
right.
one
I mean,
of us
this
gave
is a great example. Right.
None of us gave a rat's ass if you were
Same,
gay,
same,
straight. We didn't care. We just wanted you to do your job. We just wanted you to have
same
our
as
back.
same as the police.
That's
Same as
it.
the police department. You got my ass, I got yours. We're gonna get the job done.
Oh, Mike's got experience in that too. Yeah, I'm not going to tell his story, but we all work with people like that,
Right. And
Yeah.
nobody cared.
yeah, no, they don't.
And we didn't
And you know what? The American people really don't care either when it comes down
No,
to it.
it's just the little cliques in the American people in government that make it an issue, right?
Well said, yeah.
And
Right,
everybody
right.
buys into it's just like the racial divide, right? I never really realized that the country was so racist until Democrats won the White House, because that's when all the real separation started, right? Within our own friends, with our own families, all of a sudden people are, oh no, I always hated you because you weren't one of me, or I never really liked you. It took 20 years for you to figure that out, right?
Exactly. I mean, how slow? Just like the guy calling me a Russian agent. How dumb do you have to be? Though I do before, because I know you're at the top of the hour, but I do want to put a big shout out to Tina Turner. There's an icon, and there was a survivor too. This was a woman who fought against all odds,
Yep.
and so she's going to be missed. And every drag queen I know, from California all the way to Maryland, every drag queen I know wishes they had Tina Turner's legs.
Hey, there's a bunch of guys that wish they had Tina Turner's legs.
You know?
I want to give a shout out to one of our viewers, Mr. Ralph Thomas. Thank you for joining.
And Ralph, I want to say that I am 100% with you. I would vote for Kennedy anytime. I like the guy. I like what he stands for. He's middle of the road. That's what we need. We need somebody with some common sense in the White House. This nonsense of the far left and far right has to stop, or we're never going to be able to come back.
I agree.
So I want to thank you guys for being on the show tonight. We had a lot to talk about. Too bad we don't have more time. But this is great, back and forth. I appreciate your honesty and your candor. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Tony Rodriguez Show on the Next Gen USA. Special shout out to Ralph for paying attention to us, and especially we enjoy your postings on social media. So keep doing it, sir. I want to thank my buddies here, Steamboat Willie, and of course, my law enforcement guru, Mikey from Virginia. Hey, look at that. I like your hat. Shout out to your wife. I love her postings. Tell Allie that, you know, I hope and pray that someday she comes on the show, because I really want her input on some of the things that are going on.
Oh my God, she'll probably talk. She has a political opinion. She'll talk movies, and she'll talk music. That's her passion. But she does have a political opinion, and people would be surprised. She's more conservative than I am.
Well, I think.
But then again, she's not a dumbass.
My task is to keep begging her to come on the show, and I'll continue.
I know. She's not easily lobbied.
So if you guys want to follow me out there, all my social media is Tony Rodriguez for the Republic, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and you can follow me on the nextgenusa.com. Thank you and good night, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good evening.